Hello guys, so in this video what I want to do is I want to go over absolute value equations. So this is kind of like the third part or the fourth part maybe to solving other types of equations in college algebra. So I came up with 5 examples, and of course if there's any other type of example that you want me to go over for absolute value equations, let me know down below. But basically these are the 5 examples that I came up with, and so we're going to work them out. So the first one is pretty simple, right? We have the absolute value of x is equal to 3, right? So there's a rule that says if the absolute value of x is equal to k, then, so if this is true, then x equals k, or x equals negative k, right? So being that this is kind of, it's a pretty simple one, we can simply say that x is equal to 3 or x is equal to negative 3. Another thing about absolute value of x, this is true so this is really a piecewise function for x such that it goes x such that x is greater than or equal to 0, and then it's negative x such that x is less than or equal to 0, right? So basically that's just how it goes. So that's a rule, and we'll go over that more when we actually graph absolute value functions. But so basically you're just setting them equal to the positive and negative number, and then of course when you check it, so we can check this one for x equals 3. So we can do for x equals 3, we have the absolute value, and we're going to plug in the absolute value of 3 is equal to 3. So we know that the absolute value of a, or like I said, it's both of these, right? So basically it's going to be just, 3 is equal to 3. So then we can check x equals negative 3. So we can say the absolute value of negative 3 is equal to 3, and we have 3 is equal to 3. So this is true, right? So this one is pretty simple. Now we're going to go on to the second one. Now this one says, so number 2 says the absolute value of x minus 1 is equal to 5. Now, you're still going to set it equal to the positive and negative number. This does not change at all, okay? There will be an example in this video where it does change, that only like applies to when there's absolute value on both sides. But most of the time when you have an absolute value of something, like x minus something is equal to a number, you're just literally setting, this equal to the positive and negative number. So x minus 1 equals 5, or x minus 1 equals negative 5. So then we have, so we're going to add 1 to both sides here, and we have x equals 6 and x equals negative 4, right? So then we're going to go ahead and check them, right? So we have x equals 6, so let's go ahead and circle that. So we have check x equals 6, so we're going to say the absolute value of 6 minus 1 is equal to 5, right? So then this gives us the absolute value of 5 is equal to 5, and we know that 5 is equal to 5 because that's the absolute value of 5, and so this checks out, right? And now we're going to do the absolute value of, so now we're going to check negative 4, so check x equals negative 4. So we have the absolute value of negative 4 minus 1 equals 5. This is the absolute value of negative 4, or I'm sorry, the absolute value of negative 5 is equal to 5. So then 5 is equal to 5, right? So that checks out. So your solutions are x equals 6 and x equals negative 4. So these are your two solutions. Okay, so then we're going to do the third one. Number 3, let me go ahead and just copy it really quick. Okay, so here is where it gets a little bit tricky. And I don't know why this is showing up. So this is where it gets a little bit tricky, right? This is the absolute value of x plus 2 minus 3 is equal to negative x minus 4. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and let's see. So if I do, hold on, so let me add 3 to both sides, right? And that gives me the absolute value of x plus 2 is equal to negative x minus 1. Okay, so this is equal to, so basically when you have something like this, you're going to make it equal to, okay, the best way I can explain this one is if we make u equal to negative x minus 1, okay? If I say the absolute value of x plus 2 is equal to u, then, so if this is true, then x plus 2 equals u, or x plus 2 equals negative u, okay? Now, plugging u in, we have x plus 2 equals negative x minus 1, or x plus 2 equals the negative, so negative, I'm gonna put it like this actually, negative u, so that you'll know where the negative is coming from. It'll be, so u is negative x minus 1, right? And this will be negative, and it's negative u, so it's also equal to negative u. So it'll be negative the quantity, negative x minus 1. Okay, so this is going to be equal to, so if we solve this for x, we're going to add x to both sides, right? So let's go ahead and solve x plus 2 equals negative x minus 1. We're going to add x to both sides. We get 2x plus 2 equals negative 1. And then subtracting 2 on both sides, we get 2x equals negative 3. And then dividing both sides by 2, we get x equals negative 3 halves. Okay, and then this one, we have x plus 2, and we're making it equal to the negative part of this. So you're going to distribute your negative. So it'd be positive x, because negative of negative x is positive, and then plus 1, right? And so then when we do that, we get 2 is equal to 1, which is not true. So then this means that we only have one solution for this. Now, the last thing that you have to do is check it. So the original equation was the absolute value of x plus 2 minus 3 is equal to negative x minus 4. And if we check this, if we check x equals negative 3 halves, if we plug it back in for x, right, we're going to get the absolute value of the quantity, and we're going to put negative 3 halves plus 2, and then minus 3 is equal to negative the quantity, and we'll do negative 3 halves minus 4. Now, this becomes the absolute value of negative 3 halves plus, and it's going to be 4 over 2 minus 3, right? Because 4 over 2 is 2. You just have to get the common denominator, right? And then is equal to the positive, so positive 3 halves minus 4, right? And then this will be negative 6 plus 8 over 4, absolute value, minus 3 is equal to, and this will be 3 minus 8 over 2. So then it'll be 2 over 4, absolute value, because 8 minus 6 is 2 over 4. 8 minus 6 over 4 is 2 over 4. And then minus 3 is equal to negative 5 halves. So then when we do this, we get 2/4 minus 3 equals negative 5 halves. This becomes 1/2 minus 3 equals negative 5 halves. And then if we subtract this out, we get 1 minus 6 all over 2 equals negative 5 halves. This itself is negative 5 halves. So negative 5 halves equals negative 5 halves. So this checks out, right? So the only solution is x equals negative 3 halves. So solution is x equals negative 3 halves. Okay, so that is how you do that problem. Okay, so now this one, so with this one, so we have 2 times the absolute value of x minus 1 plus 3 equals 6. So the idea is, like I said, you want to get the absolute value part on its own. That is the goal of this, right? So we're going to subtract 3 on both sides. This gives us 2 times the absolute value of x minus 1 equals 3. And then we're going to go ahead and divide by 2. And we have the absolute value of x minus 1 equals 3 halves. So then, hold on, guys. Okay, sorry about that, guys. So then you're going to set it equal to the positive and negative number. So this is going to be 2 things. The absolute value of x minus, or I'm sorry, no. X minus 1 equals 3 halves. Okay, guys, I have to speed this up because apparently they're coming to fix the TV. So we're going to go ahead and just quickly do this. So you're just going to say plus 1 here on both sides. This is x is equal to 2 halves plus 3 halves. So x equals 5 halves. And then this one is going to be plus 1 plus 1. We have x equals negative 3 halves plus 2 halves, which is x equals negative 1/2. So then you check it. So let me just do 2 times the absolute value of 5 halves minus 1 plus 3 is equal to 6. This is 2 times the absolute value of going to be, hold on, 3 halves. Yeah, 3 halves plus 3 equals 6. 2 times 3 halves plus 3 equals 6. This cancels out. 3 plus 3 equals 6. 6 equals 6. So this checks out, right? And now we're going to do negative 1 half. So 2 times the absolute value of negative 1 half minus 1 plus 3 equals 6. This is 2 times the absolute value of, it goes negative 1 minus 2 over 2, and then plus 3 equals 6. This is 2 times the absolute value of negative 3 halves plus 3 equals 6, and then 2 times 3 halves plus 3 equals 6, and then this cancels out. 3 plus 3 equals 6. 6 equals 6. So your solutions are x equals 5 halves, x equals negative 1 half. Okay, and let me go ahead and do the last example really quickly. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, so those are the two solutions to this absolute value equation. And then, let's see, what was the next one? So we were on number 4, and now number 5. So number 5 says, so 8 absolute value of x plus 2 equals 10, and I'm going to get minus 2 on both sides, so I'm going to subtract 2 on both sides, right? And we have 8 absolute value of x is equal to 8, and then we're going to divide both sides by 8, and we get the absolute value of x is equal to 1, so this means that x equals 1, or x equals negative 1. So then you're going to check your solutions. So let's do x equals 1. So we have 8 times the absolute value of 1 plus 2 is equal to 10. So 8 times 1 plus 2 equals 10. And then 8 plus 2 equals 10. So then 10 equals 10. So this checks out, right? And then we're going to check x equals negative 1. So check x equals negative 1. So we have 8 times the absolute value of negative 1 plus 2 is equal to 10. And this becomes, so the absolute value of negative 1 is 1. So 8 times 1 plus 2 equals 10. And so 8 plus 2 is equal to 10. And so 10 is equal to 10. So your solutions are, solutions are x equals 1 and x equals negative 1. Okay, so that is it for this video, guys. Sorry if I had to like pause the video because I had a few things to do, but so that is basically all the, like, how you solve absolute value equations. If anybody has any questions whatsoever about this, please let me know. And with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching, and please like, comment, and or subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.